In guerrilla-style warfare, an army will rely on rapid, sudden strikes followed by immediate retreat, only to re-engage the enemy at a different location at a different time. The goal is to whittle down an enemy's superior forces by keeping them guessing and hitting them when they're most vulnerable. This is largely how the American militiamen won the Revolutionary War, and it's a massive pain in the butt to fight against. There are a lot of heavy-hitting, tip-of-the-meta builds, weapons, subclasses, and playstyles out there in Destiny right now, and I wanted to find a way to really embrace the guerrilla style of combat in Destiny, recreate it, and see if I could leverage it with any degree of success. The resulting build, which I'm showing off today, exceeded my expectations by a landslide, leading me to a few rans, which have become scarce in today's skill-based matchmaking environment, as well as helping me farm in the flawless pool on PC for hours. In fact, every Trials clip in this video is on PC with no card resetting to avoid the pool. This build doesn't just hang, it shreds, and I'm excited to break it down for you today. But builds can be complex, and scrubbing through my entire video to find each moving part of it can be a pain. So I'm going to leave links in the description and in the pinned comment, which take you over to Mobalytics, where the entire build will be listed out in detail on one easy page for you to see and recreate at your leisure. It details the gameplay loop, the aspects and fragments, how everything synergizes, so do yourself a favor and make it easy on yourself. Follow the link or even pull it up in a separate tab to look at it while I break it down in the video. Let's start with just a brief synopsis of the build, a sort of Cliff Notes version. I call this the CryoGuerilla build for obvious reasons. The goal is to embrace that rapid in-and-out strike tactic used by guerrilla forces, and the stasis aspects of the build exist to help minimize risk on your approach and minimize risk of death during your extraction. There are three primary stasis elements that do that for us. The first is the Mask of Bakris. I'll break its utility down in detail in a moment, but to oversimplify it, the Mask of Bakris exists to help us slow our enemies while we create much needed space to avoid getting blasted with a shotgun, or popped by a sniper, or dunked on by a super. The second stasis element in this build is the enhanced Duskfield grenade. Similarly, this is going to zone off choke points, allowing us to break away and reposition without fear of being chased. It's going to help us block off revives while we deal with another target, and it's going to stop people in their tracks who might try to make a fast move on us. The third and final stasis element is the exotic sidearm, the Cryosthesia. The Cryosthesia has huge aim assist, impressive range, and a rapid TTK of 0.7 seconds while allowing for a missed crit to do so. On top of that, it's going to allow us to freeze or slow targets on command after an initial kill. That freeze can be endlessly chained as long as you keep picking on the right person at the right time. So that's the brief synopsis of the build. We isolate a target, slow them if necessary with a Duskfield or a well-timed dodge, kill them with the sidearm, reload the sidearm with a freezing bullet, and then go on the hunt for another single target to freeze and kill with the sidearm and do it all over again. But everything in this build has multiple applications. It's very versatile. Let's look at the bakris, for example. The Mask of Bakris can be used to get out of trouble, or it can be used to initiate an engagement with a now slowed and debuffed target. Let me show you a few specific moments where bakris carried a lot of weight. In this clip, an enemy titan in Trials on mouse and keyboard who can make fast adjustments to his trajectory even, pops his Thunder Crash to take me out. He targets me, flies right for me, and I use bakris to teleport away from his impact point and go off the map and double jump back up to safety. Without bakris, I'm dead there.
Dude, the way I just juked that guy.
In this clip on Burnout, I'm stuck in a corner and an enemy warlock drops his Nova Bomb. It detonates right in front of me and an army of Axion Seeker projectiles are starting to barrel towards me. My back is to a wall, there's nowhere for me to go. If I have anything else at all on my hunter, I'm dead. But bakris allows me to teleport through the Seekers and safely out the other side. Here on Rusted Lands, a warlock jumps over the wall to solo super me, but bakris takes me far away from danger, and I get a front row seat to seeing him absolutely destroy a patch of grass with that Nova Bomb.
Well executed.
The point is that bakris has the capacity to nullify some of the most deadly abilities in Destiny. But it's not just reactive, it can also be proactive too. Here in Trials, there are 2 enemies right around the corner, baiting. I know this, so I slide the corner and then immediately bakris dodge away, back the way I came from. Now both targets are slowed and easy pickings for me when I re-engage. It's also fun to bakris dodge through an aping shotgunner and then watch them try to slow turn around and shoot you. It's funny every time. But before we break down the other 2 stasis elements of this build in more detail, it's important to hit the aspects and fragments. Almost everything I just outlined about bakris circles back to the aspect Winter's Shroud. This makes it so that dodging near an enemy slows them. Bakris makes it easier to proc on enemies with the real estate that the dodge covers. We're also using Touch of Winter to enhance our Duskfield grenades. It makes them wider and creates a little crystal in the middle, which we will be shooting every time if we can help it. For fragments, we're running Whisper of Rending. This is important. Since we're freezing enemies with the Cryosthesia, we're going to want to finish them off with that sidearm to get another freezing bullet ready to go for the next guy. So we want our Cryosthesia to do more damage against the frozen target. Next, Whisper of Shards. This gives us a nice resilience boost, but it also makes it so that shattering a crystal gives us extra grenade recharge energy. So when we throw our Duskfield, we're going to want to shatter that crystal in the middle if we can help it to queue up that extra regen. Next, Whisper of Durance. We're slowing people with our dodge, our grenades, and sometimes with the Cryosthesia as well. So we want that slow debuff to last longer. This has helped me clutch Trials rounds, as I've slowed enemies so it takes them longer to get to a revive while I deal with the other guy in a 1v1. It translates to taking players off the board for longer periods of time, letting you guerrilla style find a target to bully alone. Now in the final slot, I used to use Whisper of Refraction, which gives you class ability energy every time you defeat a slowed target. Now I thought this would be helpful, the idea was to feed my bakris dodge, but I found that it almost never helped. I would often bakris dodge to slow an enemy and then kill them, but my bakris cooldown was locked down because that got changed a few seasons ago, so I couldn't get any energy back anyway. So I switched to Whisper of Torment. As I'm taking damage, I'm also getting extra grenade energy, which means more Duskfields. It ended up being far more useful. Okay, so those are the aspects and fragments. Back to those 3 stasis elements for the build. We covered bakris, now let's talk about the Duskfields. Let me show you some specific scenarios. In this clip, I'm in a 1v2 in Trials. I don't want it to turn into a 1v3, so I throw the Duskfield grenade on the enemy going for the revive. The Duskfield is going to last a while, meaning he's not going to be able to get that revive. He's also slowed now for longer, so he can't actively push me. This frees me up to have an extended 1v1 with the last remaining enemy. Now once I finish that guy off, now I'm free to push the first guy again and take him down in a 1v1. And he was never able to get that revive. The Duskfield literally won that round for me.
I'm gonna freeze him and then rocket him. It'll be hilarious. Freeze, rocket. I told you I was gonna do it.
Beyond that, Duskfields are also great at countering rifts and barricades. It flushes players out and forces them to challenge or get frozen. It's also great at baiting players into your guerrilla warfare trap. I'll wait at a corner, begging an enemy or two to push me, and when the radar lights up, I toss that grenade down at the corner and slow any enemies foolish enough to push. Then I get to punish them. Now, if they sit in that grenade long enough, you can then bakris dodge through them to apply even more slow stacks and potentially freeze them fully in place. These are great for countering things like Antaeus wards, Juggernaut shields, hunters who dodge towards you and come out of it with a shotgun at the ready. It's even great at stopping fusion riflers in their tracks, keeps them locked down so they can't pursue you, allowing you to peek in and out of cover and whittle them down and bait out shots. So those are the basic applications of the Duskfield. Don't forget to break that crystal for more grenade energy, or even use that crystal for cover if need be. You can always throw the grenade down at your feet if a fusion catches you out in the open, and then crouch behind that crystal to avoid the Voop. But now let's move on to the final and arguably most crucial part of the build, the Cryosthesia. This sidearm is scary good. I talked about it in a recent video about precision frame sidearms, but the gist is that they have mega high aim assist, great range, built-in forgiveness to reach their optimal TTK, and they have a very competitive optimal TTK on top of that. The Cryosthesia is a powerhouse. Not only is it a scary good dueling weapon, but after you win a duel, you earn the right to freeze the next person on sight. You may not kill the person with your follow-up shots before they break out, but by the time they break out, you've probably done 150 damage to them if not more, and you'll be full health. It's kind of hard to lose the duel after that. Then you can just reload the freeze bullet again and do the same thing to the next guy. You can chain endlessly assuming you pick the right people to push and they don't have help. But I've also pushed into 1v2s, frozen one of them, and then full killed the second guy with my sidearm while the first guy's frozen in place. Then he breaks out and I've got a second freezing round ready to go because I killed his buddy and I can freeze him a second time. And you can just see the anger oozing off of them in real time. It's palpable and delicious. I get immeasurable joy from it. And that is it. That's the build. Every moving part of it, what they can do. Let me show you a clip here from Trials that shows everything working together in harmony. I get a guaranteed win on the second enemy by using bakris to slow him, and that queues up my freeze bullet chaining. End up getting 6 kills in this round. Watch the clip.
1 minute left, my friend. You stand alone. Do not give up.
Yeah, really unfortunate timing on that. If I peek, that bow's gonna kill me in one shot.
Opponent revive. You alone can bring victory. I'll let you. Opponent revive.
What? He survived? Gosh dang it, dude.
30 seconds left. Guardian against Guardian. Showdown! Your ally is back in the fight. Opponent revive. Only one enemy is left.
Dude, what I just did to these guys should be illegal. Oh my gosh, dude.
So I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I hope that I sold you on this build. Let me know in the comments if you take this build for a spin and what you thought of it. It's so much better than I expected it to be, and I saved it as a loadout to switch to anytime I want to from now on. Make sure you check out the link to Mobalytics if you want to recreate the build yourself. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video today. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.
You have my respect. Tell them to line up faster. Your enemy can't kill if... Your legend grows. 2 for 1. Triple down. Together as one. I love it. Hunters like you blaze a path for the rest of us. What can stop you if you fight together? Nothing.
Oh no. Shit.
left, my friend. Only one enemy is left. Your ally is back in the fight.
Got his teabagging.
They tried very hard.